Number 7, domicile requirement. So, the domicile requirement for affidavit support is really interesting. When I first started practicing immigration, I worked for a guy for 2 years, and way I learned immigration is like many way people learn immigration, which is to just copy the cover letter and submit forms, just do it without knowing the rules. And then when I started my firm, I learned better. This is one thing for my marriage immigration course that I have. We go through the statute. We cover I-864. We go for 245. We go through the Code of Federal Regulations. We go through the case law and be it detailed to actually learn where this stuff comes from before just copy pasting how to do a thing. But having said that, when I was starting my own firm, I got a call once from this lady who was saying, "Yeah, my case, they didn't approve at the embassy because of domicile issue." I'm like, "I never heard of that. But what the hell is that?" And then I realized, affidavit supports have a domicile requirement, which says the petitioning person or whoever the sponsor is and the petitioner needs to be, living in the United States. It has to be their domicile. And then I looked at the statute, which is a vague statute that just says, either they're living here or at worst, they're going to travel with the applicant to the United States at the same time. And so we have cases right now where petitioners, marriage cases, are living with the people in the home country, and they don't want to move until they come here. So what we do is at the National Visa Center level, when they want proof of domicile, because they see on the affidavit support that where the address of the petitioner is, I add a line to the Code of Federal Regulations, and I copy pasted there. It says the adjudicating officer of the embassy could make a decision that will approve the visa if they can show that the petition applicant are going to come together at the same time. It's not going to be a domicile issue. So that's possible. So we bypass the embassy by telling them that, and then when they go to the embassy, then we got to kind of negotiate. We got to see what's going on, and what them either they'll approve it if they believe it, which is most of the time they won't, unless you're like in a Western European country. Everywhere else they won't. But at that point, we tell clients, have your ticket lined up, have job offers or jobs lined up, go get a place, and then get a bank account, get all this stuff ready to go that shows your life is here, and you can do it. So we had this one case, it was in Eastern Europe. The person got their flight to the United States, the petitioner, and they found a job, which was with a company that a relative owned. And what I did is only submitted, I told them straight up ahead of time, even though they wouldn't be able to tell on their own, that this is owned by a relative, but it is a real job, and they're going to be working there. And just I don't want them to come back and say we're trying to play a fast one with them. It was a real job. We're confident with it. So we just told them straight up, this is like a cousin owns the company, but it's a legitimate job. And they approved the visa, even though the petitioner is still living in the foreign country with the beneficiary applicant. So just be prepared for that. We have a couple other ones in India right now coming. And India is a hard one. They're always really strict there, but we're going to push it from the MVC, National Visa Center, to the embassy because there's so many delays right now in processing cases in India. We need to get documentary qualified as soon as possible to put them in line. And because getting an appointment is probably going to be 1+ year away, I don't want to move here in the United States and be separated when they have kids and stuff like that. It doesn't make any sense. So it's really important to bypass the National Visa Center section so we get documentary qualified, especially when you're dealing with cases with countries where the appointment for the immigrant visa interview is not going to happen for a long time, to get the ball rolling and then deal with the embassy as it is. They're not going to deny the case. And mostly put it in admin processing to get more additional proof that the petitioner and joint sponsor, whoever it is living in the United States. So that buys you time, but at least you get the interview, get that out of the way because there's delays. So it's really, really important on the practical side on dealing with these domicile issues. I don't like to. I've had clients have consult with me and said they talk about their attorneys. They said you have to move at the I-130 phase years earlier. So I try to push it to the last second because at the end of the day, these people have families and lives. It's really disruptive to all of a sudden have two households, one in the United States, one there, working here, not visiting the kids, not visiting the family. It's a mess. So I don't believe in that. And I try to help my clients with that.